Hello everyone, so welcome to my first video on this channel, Think DBZ, and on this channel I want to talk about and discuss points in Dragon Ball Z that I don't really see other people post on their YouTube videos, and yes, I know there's a lot of channels that do Dragon Ball Z discussions and topics, but I always feel like I have a different viewpoint than others, and I wanted to make a channel to do so. So going on with that, I've always had this idea of a video that I've never seen anybody talk about, and it's that Goku should have been stronger than Raditz when Raditz arrived on Earth. And there's a few points of why I want to point that out. So you never hear anybody talk about this, and Goku should always be stronger than Raditz when Raditz arrived, and there's a bunch of reasons. So Goku was sent to Earth to destroy the planet, and he was already very strong, and when he was growing up, Goku showed incredible strength. He could lift up a car at like age 12. He went through numerous battles and did numerous increased training, and we saw that he got to a very hefty power level of the high 300s when Raditz arrived without his weighted clothing, and then being able to bring up his power level even more with powering up and using a Kamehameha. Now Raditz, when he arrives, it's never clearly stated, but his power level is between like 1200 to 1700. It's never really shown, but he's supposed to be stronger than a Cyberman, and Cybermen are 1200, so he's probably around 1500 or 1700. And he shows to still put up a fight against Piccolo and Goku, but clearly showing that Goku and Piccolo are outmatched. But that is very inconsistent. So, here are the reasons why. Raditz, along with Vegeta and Nappa, they didn't very train. There's not much that shows or says that the Saiyans really trained, and more or less just possessed power they got from birth and embraced it. The only way they really gained higher power levels were conquering other planets and through battles of increasing their power level. Vegeta, Nappa, and other Saiyans were able to increase their power levels higher. Same with Bardock, Goku's father, and King Vegeta, simply by going through battles. It wasn't really stated, and it's never really shown that they're actually ones for just going out and training like Vegeta later does to try to surpass Goku. So with that being said, Raditz has a power level of 1700 by living on planet Vegeta, which has a 10 times gravity multiplier, which can increase your strength, and along with defeating other planets and stuff, he is risen to 1700 power level. So if we flip to Goku, who also has natural Saiyan strength and abilities, just like Vegeta, Nappa, and Raditz, one of the weaker ones, has trained for the last 20 or so years how old he is when Raditz shows. Non-stop. He is always training with weighted clothing. He has done Master Roshi's training. He has done other training. He's had tons of battles, and that's where it shows again is Raditz and other people gain power levels by going through battles and having Zenkai boost and things of that nature. Goku has had many battles. Tons, in fact, where he's been so significantly hurt that he's had Zenkai boost before Raditz has even arrived. And this is where the power discrepancy is really showing, is that Raditz, a Saiyan who was also born in a lower class tier as Goku, even though he's regarded as being, Goku is regarded as being a little bit lower tier, as he states, but it's never particularly clear if they're on the same level or not, does not really train. That is shown or talked about anyways. Even if he did train, it's not much, because they're usually just going out and conquering planets, constantly, and that gravity multiplier from their home planet. Meanwhile, during all these years while Raditz is growing up, Goku is training and learning martial art techniques that the Saiyans, while they're a warrior race, were not necessarily training in all sorts of different ways of self-defense and combat, which is what Dragon Ball, the original Dragon Ball, was all about, was learning all these fancy martial arts and powers. So not only did Goku become aware of all these techniques that were not available to Saiyans, he's also was training non-stop with his natural strength that he had already by being a Saiyan. Not let alone being hurt constantly and having Zenkai boost while growing up and just training with weighted clothing and everything. While he didn't grow up with the gravity that other Saiyans got to grow up with to make them naturally stronger their entire life, that necessarily isn't always a good argument to show that Raditz is stronger. Just simply Goku trained constantly. As we've already shown, Goku training constantly later in this series, he can have immense power increases that are crazy. And yes, while there was new training techniques introduced into the show that could justify Goku's later power enhancements, it should show that Goku training as much as he does should be able to increase it. Just going to King Kai's planet with the 10 times gravity and his training, Goku is easily able to surpass Nappa and be on par and then be able to defeat Vegeta. Well, after a very long battle, but still, something that Vegeta has strived for just for fighting with planets, Goku was able to achieve in just like a year with training. And while King Kai's training was very advanced, I think it goes to show that Goku with new training and enhancements can increase his power level constantly. So with his training all throughout his life, he was not even close to Raditz's power level, more than 1/5 of it. And Raditz, who never trained and just conquered planets and was very arrogant and just had natural strength because he was a Saiyan, was way stronger than him. It's something that I never really believed in, and I always felt like was simply for plot, and that Goku should definitely have been as strong as Raditz or way stronger with how Saiyans increase power level so easily, their natural strength, and the fact that Goku trained constantly all the time throughout those years and had tons and tons of battles. While he not necessarily conquered planets to the degree of the Saiyans and maybe had as big as battles, he did have tons of fights and learned tons of techniques that the Saiyans did not have at their disposal. And I feel like this is something that goes to show in the into the show later on, but was not represented when the Dragon Ball Z saga started. So that is just my thoughts on this, guys. But let me know down below what you thought. Start a conversation, because I always found this topic very interesting and nobody ever really likes to talk about it or has ever really brought it up that I can find. So let me know down below what you think. Do you think Goku should be stronger than Raditz, or do you think the power levels do represent the right place and the right time of where they should be? So let me know down below, and I'll see you later, guys. Peace.